जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीर्वुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हरे कृष्ण। So yesterday we began the topic on following in the footsteps of the Mahajanas. We saw the pramana for this principle, the following the footsteps of the Mahajanas, from the Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. कल हम महाजनों के पद चिन्हों में कैसे हमारे जीवन चलाना चाहिए इसके ऊपर हमने चर्चा किए थे। श्रीमद् भागवत, चैतन्य चरितामृत और महाभारत, इनसे हम प्रमाण श्लोक देखे थे। Yesterday we discussed some instances in relation to Lord Brahma from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we will discuss from the life of Narada Muni as depicted primarily from the Srimad Bhagavatam, few instances from the Mahabharata also. So आज हम नारद मुनि के चरित्र श्रीमद् भागवत के आधार पर हम चर्चा करेंगे। Regarding Narada Muni, it is described that सहस्रयुग पर्यन्ते उत्तायेदं सिसृक्षतः मरीचि मिश्रा ऋषय प्राणेभ्योहम च जज्ञिरे। Narada Muni himself, he speaks about his life. At the end of 1000 yuga cycles, Brahma awoke Marichi and other sages, and I also appeared along with the other sages from the senses of Brahma, who desired to create the universe again. So in the beginning of the Brahma's Kalpa, Brahma created the different sages. Narada Muni also appeared along with those sages. But Narada Muni's position is very unique. In the purport to this particular shloka, the Acharyas are clarifying. I'll read that shloka. This is from the Sanskrit commentary. Sarveshu Vaikunteshu Sarveshu Kaleshu च श्री नारदस्य नित्यता श्रूयते. Narada Muni is eternally present in all the Vaikuntha lokas and in all times. Unlike other sages, other sons of Lord Brahma, they were created by Lord Brahma. They were qualified living entities who are interested with a particular task. But Narada is an eternal associate of the Lord. Narada is present eternally in all the Vaikunthas. Narada is present eternally in all times. So that is so Narada Muni is a special Jivatma. Although it is mentioned that Narada is created, but he is eternally present in all the Vaikunthas. So Narada's appearance is just like Krishna's appearance as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Just like Krishna appears in different incarnations, Narada also appears. So the shloka Janma Karma Chame Divyam, it appears equally to Narada Muni also. So नारद मुनि के बारे में ऐसा बताया गया है कि नारद मुनि सभी वैकुंठ लोक में निवास करते हैं, सभी कालों में निवास करते हैं. और नारद मुनि जैसे भगवान श्री कृष्ण के जन्म और लीला दिव्य स्तर में है, उसी तरह नारद मुनि के जन्म भी 3 गुणों के परे में है, दिव्य स्तर में है. इसको वैष्णव आचार्य स्पष्ट रूप से अपने टिप्पणी में बताते हैं. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto it is mentioned, Marichiratyangira pulastya pulaha kratuhu Bhrigur vasishto dakshascha dashamastatra naradaha. The 10 sons of Brahma are explained in the shloka. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrigu, Vasishta, Daksha, and the 10th son Narada appeared. Specifically, Narada is mentioned as Dashamas Tatra Naradaha. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions the commentary to the shloka. The different sons of Brahma like Marichi, Atri, Angira, they were all representatives of the path of karma, fruitive activities, yoga, jnana, vairagya, tapasya, etc. But all these other paths, they will become successful only when they are performed in addition to bhakti. On the other hand, bhakti does not depend on these other processes. Therefore, bhakti is represented at the end, and that bhakti appeared in the form of Narada Muni. भागवत के तीसरे स्कंद में बताया गया है, ब्रह्मा जी के 10 पुत्रों के नाम बताया गया है, मैत्रेय, मरीचि, अत्रि, अंगिर, पुलस्त्य, और इसमें अंतिम में नारद मुनि का नाम बताया गया है. इसमें विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर लिखते हैं कि ब्रह्मा जो कर्मकांड मार्ग, ज्ञान मार्ग, तपस्या मार्ग, अष्टांग योग मार्ग, इनके प्रतिनिधि के रूप में ब्रह्मा जी के अनेक पुत्र उत्पन्न हुए. पर ये सब मार्ग का सफलता भगवत भक्ति के संबंध से ही होता है. भगवत भक्ति के संबंध के ऊपर ये इन अन्य मार्गों का सफलता निर्भर होता है. पर भक्ति मार्ग जैसे भगवान स्वतंत्र हैं, भक्ति मार्ग भी स्वतंत्र है. भक्ति मार्ग का सफलता अन्य मार्गों के ऊपर निर्भर नहीं रहता है. इसीलिए उस भक्ति मार्ग का प्रतिनिधि नारद मुनि को इस श्लोक के अंतिम में बताया गया है दशमस तत्र नारदः। And then we see, so therefore Srila Prabhupada says, only the transcendental loving service of the Lord can deliver the real goal of life, and thus the service rendered by Sriman Narada Muni is the highest among all the sons of Brahma. ब्रह्मा जी के सभी पुत्रों में से नारद मुनि जो सेवा करते हैं उनकी सेवा सबसे उत्तम कोटि के सेवा माना जाता है, क्योंकि नारद मुनि हर एक जीवात्मा को भगवान के भक्ति में वो प्रेरणा देते हैं। एंड इसीलिए therefore Narada means what? Nara means that which belongs to the Lord. The means giver. So Narada means that which gives dasya, sakya and other relationships with the Lord. So these relationships with the Lord are established by following the Bhakti Marga. Therefore, Narada is that person who bestows the path of Bhakti Marga, which by following that Bhakti Marga, a living entity establishes the relationship with the Supreme Lord, either in the form of Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya or Madhurya. So, Narada, ये शब्द का अर्थ इस प्रकार है, जो व्यक्ति भगवत भक्ति को जीवात्मा को देते हैं वो उनका नाम है नारद। भगवत भक्ति के माध्यम से एक जीवात्मा भगवान से दास्य भक्ति या सख्य भक्ति या वात्सल्य भक्ति या माधुर्य भक्ति इस अनेक प्रकार के संबंधित स्थापना करते हैं। दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड नारद। हाँ, एंड so therefore Narada, that he can deliver the Supreme Lord does not mean that the Lord is like a commodity that he can be delivered to any person, but Narada can deliver to anyone the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a servitor, friend, parent or lover. In other words, it is Narada only who can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Narada Muni is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam as the father of devotional service. श्रीमद् भागवत के एक व्याख्या में प्रभुपाद जी बताते हैं कि भक्ति मार्ग के पिताजी श्रीमान नारद मुनि हैं। और द सेकेंड कैंटो 9th चैप्टर, हाउ नारद मुनि approached Brahma. The second canto 9th chapter describes the conditions under which the conversation between Brahma and Narada took place. So, once Brahma, desiring the benefit of the progeny, followed the rules and regulations to fulfill his desire. So, at that time, Tam Narada Priyatamo रिक्तादानाम अनुव्रतः शुश्रूषमाण शीलेन प्रश्रयेण दमेन च मायां विविदिशन् विष्णुर् मायेशस्य महामुनिः महाभागवतो राजन् पितरं पर्यतोषयत्. So Narada Muni is mentioned as the dearmost among all the sons of Brahma. And Riktadanam Anuvrata, who was devoted to his father, deal with personalities from diverse varieties of background. He actually taught the path of Bhakti Marga, path of Bhakti Yoga to diverse varieties of people. Narada Muni taught devotional service to the child in the womb, that is Prahlad Maharaj. Narada Muni taught devotional service to the children like Dhruva Maharaj. Narada Muni taught devotional service to the youth like the Haryashvas and Savalashvas. Narada Muni taught devotional service to the congregation, Chitraketu Maharaj and his wives. Narada Muni taught devotional service to very highly important people, VIP preaching, like King Prachina Barishad. And he taught Bhakti Marga to even great scholars like Veda Vyasa. Like Prabhupada established Bhaktivedanta Institute preaching. He inspired youth preaching. Narada Muni taught devotional service even to Kayadu, the mother of Prahlad Maharaj. And he taught Bhakti Yoga to elderly people like Prachetas. Prachetas, after they retired, at the fag end of their life, Narada Muni came and instructed them in devotional service. Narada Muni was also into prison preaching. Prison ministry, in ISKCON has a prison ministry where they go and preach the prisoners in. So Narada Muni taught to personalities like Ratnakara and Mrigari, who are into half-killing animals. And who else? Narada Muni. So we see Narada Muni could deal with the varieties of people. Usually we may be comfortable with people from a particular background, particular age group. So but Narada Muni had the maturity to deal with the diversities. So नारद मुनि हम देखते हैं कि श्रीमद् भागवत में विविध प्रकार के लोगों को भक्ति मार्गों को प्रचार किए. बच्चों को हरियश्वर, सवलश्वर, प्रहलाद महाराज, ध्रुव महाराज, युवकों को, और परिवार में जो रहते हैं चित्रकेतु महाराज उनके पत्नियों को प्रचार किए, और बहुत बड़े पंडित लोगों को भी वो प्रचार किए. वेद व्यास को उन्होंने ही श्रीमद् भागवत लिखने के लिए उन्होंने ही प्रेरणा दिए. और नारद मुनि वरिष्ठ वैष्णव जो जीवन के अंतिम काल में रहते हैं उनको भी भक्ति मार्ग का प्रचार किए. प्रचेतस उनको प्रचार किए. और नारद मुनि रत्नाकर और मृगारी जैसे डाकुओं को उनको भी भक्ति मार्ग में उन्होंने प्रेरणा दी. सो नारद मुनि से हम देख सकते हैं कि उनका कैसे एक विविध प्रकार के लोगों को कैसे बातचीत करना है, उनके मन में भगवत भक्ति के ऊपर कैसे प्रेरणा देना है. और ऐसा उनके पास इतना सूक्ष्म आध्यात्मिक दिव्य बुद्धि था. सो देयरफॉर इसीलिए हम देखते हैं कि नारद मुनि भक्ति मार्ग के पिताजी, ऐसा प्रभुपाद जी बोलते हैं. सो देयरफॉर नारद मुनि इज कॉल्ड एज द फादर ऑफ डिवोशनल सर्विस. We see in the life of Narada Muni, like in the first canto, 6th chapter, after his mother died, Narada Muni started traveling. He started going in the northern direction. And it is described that Narada Muni went through the cities, villages, mines, dense forest, and he experienced varieties of situation. But Prabhupada says in a purport, Vishnu Chakravarti says in a purport, Narada Muni says that I did not have surprise or fear in seeing those surprising and fearsome things. He went to dense forest where wild animals were there. But Narada Muni was not afraid. He went through cities, advanced cities with cosmopolitan cities. But Narada Muni was not attracted by the technological advancement. Just like Prabhupada, when he went to the West, Prabhupada, generally people, when they go to the West, they are attracted by the technological advancement. But Prabhupada, when he went to the West, he saw that how the people are so deeply immersed in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and he felt pity on them. So Narada Muni, he says that because my mind was absorbed in tasting the sweetness of the Lord, I did not experience surprise or I did not become fearful in different situations. Shuddhaya Shantaya Namasva Nishtaya Manasyapartam Vilasadvayaya. Prachetas, when they offer prayer to Vishnu, they say that when a person fixes one's mind on the Supreme Lord, all the dualities of this world become meaningless. So therefore, Narada Muni, because his mind was fixed on the Supreme Lord, therefore he was not affected by the external situation. Because Narada Muni experienced the diversities of the Lord's creation while remaining absorbed in Krishna, therefore he could also deal with the diverse varieties of people and how to present Krishna consciousness according to the mindset of the different people. We see Narada Muni, जब उनके माता जी का देहांत हो जाता है, नारद मुनि प्रयाण करने लगते हैं. उसमें भागवत में वर्णन किया गया है कि नारद मुनि अनेक शहर में गए थे, गांव में गए थे और गहरा जंगल के अंदर गए थे. पर नारद मुनि बोलते हैं कि क्योंकि मेरा मन भगवान के चिंतन में, भगवान के बारे में मैं चिंतन कर रहा था, इसीलिए बाहर के परिस्थिति से मेरा मन विचलित नहीं हुआ, मेरा मन में कुछ विकार नहीं हुआ. तो नारद मुनि भगवान के सृष्टि के अनेक प्रकार के स्थितियों को अनुभव किए थे, भगवान के सृष्टि के विविधता को अनुभव किए थे. भगवान अपने मन को भगवान के चिंतन में लगा के भगवान की सृष्टि को अनुभव किए थे, भगवान की सृष्टि की विविधता के अनुभव किए थे. इसीलिए उनको विविध प्रकार के लोगों से कैसे बातचीत करना है, उनको भगवान के भगवत भक्ति में कैसा प्रेरणा देना है, वो पक्वता उनके बुद्धि में था. We also see there is a beautiful shloka in the Bhartrhari's Niti Shataka which talks about the glory of satsanga. Jadyam diyo harati sinchati vachi satyam manonnatim dishati papam apakaroti cheta prasadayati dikshu tanoti kirtimat sangati kataya kimna karoti pumsam. Jadyam diyo harati. Satsanga, it steals the dullness of the mind. The dull intelligence is taken away by the satsang. Satsanga gives clarity to the mind. Oftentimes we take clarity for granted, but satsanga, when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, when we hear Srila Prabhupada's message, it gives clarity to the life. Jadyam diyo harati. Sinchati vachi satyam. Because of satsanga, a person starts speaking the truth. When a person associates with the sadhu, the association of a sadhu makes a person truthful. But more than that, not simply truthful on a moral sense, a person starts describing the param satya, the absolute truth. Because of satsanga, a person starts describing the param satya, the absolute truth. Manonnatim dishati. Satsanga increases the respectability of a person. The person may be an ordinary person, but because of satsanga, a person's respectability increases. Papam apakaroti. Satsanga removes all the sins of a person. A person stops performing all his sinful activities. Cheta prasadayati. Satsanga makes a person peaceful. It gives genuine satisfaction to a person's mind. Dikshu tanoti. And satsanga spreads the fame of a person in all the directions. Satsangati kataya kimna karoti pumsam. What benefit will satsanga not bestow upon a person? So we can see for each of this example from the life of Narada Muni. Jadyam diyo harati. Because of the association of Narada Muni, King Prachina Barishad got such clarity in his life. Because this is described in 5 chapters in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 25 to chapter 29. But especially when you read the chapter 29 of the 4th canto, Narada Muni expertly speaks an allegorical story to Prachina Barishad. And then after hearing the meaning of the allegorical story, Prachina Barishad says that till now I had many teachers in my life, but they never told about the message which you are speaking. Because of the previous teachers, I was simply absorbed in the karma kanda sacrifices. But your instructions have bestowed upon me great clarity. भर्तृहरि नीति शतक के श्लोक में सत्संग के महिमा के बारे में बताते हैं. पहला महिमा बताते हैं कि सत्संग के वजह से हमारे बुद्धि का जड़ बुद्धि को सत्संग हरण कर देता है. हमारे बुद्धि में एक क्लैरिटी आ जाता है. जीवन का लक्ष्य के ऊपर हमारा बुद्धि में एक सही दिशा मिलती है. जो भ्रम होता है, जो कंफ्यूजन, सत्संग की वजह से वो कंफ्यूजन दूर हो जाता है. तो नारद मुनि के संग से प्राचीन परिषद के बुद्धि का जड़ता नष्ट हो गया, जाड्यता नष्ट हो गया. और सिंचति वाचि सत्यम. Because of the Narada Muni's association, Ratnakara, who was a dacoit, he was inspired to leave his job of a dacoit, the stealing, and he started chanting the names of Lord Ram, and eventually he became so qualified. He became qualified to describe the Param Satya. He became qualified to write the Ramayana. And because of Narada Muni's association, Vyasadeva was inspired to write the Srimad Bhagavatam, where he exclusively glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the path of Bhakti Marga, the path of pure Bhakti, and the glories of the pure devotees. And Vyasadeva was inspired to describe the Param Satya to the greatest degree by the association of Narada Muni. सत्संग के वजह से एक जीवात्मा सत्य बोलने लगते हैं, खास करके परम सत्य भगवान के गुणगान करने लगते हैं. नारद मुनि के संग के वजह से रत्नाकर नाम के डाकू वाल्मीकि ऋषि बने और रामायण को लेके, और व्यासदेव भी श्रीमद् भागवत को लेके. मानोन्नतिम दिशति. मानोन्नतिम दिशति. We see that Prahlad Maharaj, he was born as the son of a demon. But Prahlad Maharaj, he became such a Mahabhagavata that the Devatas, when they would speak in their assembly about the Vaishnava Dharma, they would say that devotee means he should be like Prahlad. They would actually give the example of Prahlad. Devotee means he should be like Prahlad. So Prahlad Maharaj's respectability increased even among the Devatas. Rupa Goswami says in one place in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, if we put all the devotees on one side of the scale, and if we put Prahlad on the another side of the scale, and Prahlad would be equal to all the devotees put together. Prahlad Maharaj's respectability increased by the association of Narada Muni. सत्संग के वजह से एक व्यक्ति के आदर बढ़ जाता है. प्रहलाद महाराज नारद मुनि के संग से प्रहलाद महाराज कितने ऊंचे स्थिति को प्राप्त किए कि देवता लोग भी अपने सभा में जब वैष्णव धर्म के बारे में चर्चा करते हैं उस समय बोलते थे कि वैष्णव मतलब प्रहलाद जैसे होना चाहिए. रूप गोस्वामी कहते हैं कि सभी वैष्णवों को एक तराज के एक प्लेट में रखेंगे और वो तराज के दूसरे प्लेट में प्रहलाद महाराज को रखेंगे तो प्रहलाद महाराज सभी वैष्णवों के समान. उस तरफ उनका चरित्र इतना श्रेष्ठ था. और पापम अपाकरोति, सो वी कैन सी in the life of Mrigari Ratnakara. Mrigari, he was half killing the animals. And he never felt that it is sinful, I'm giving trouble to other people. He never had a thought. But by the association of Narada Muni, he became such a great Vaishnava. When Narada Muni came to meet him for the second time, Mrigari, he noticed certain ants in the road. He felt that he was trying to move away those ants, that even the ants should not get troubled when they were walking. So he became so sensitive that he didn't want to even trouble those ants. So that is how he stopped all his sins and he became such an elevated, soft-hearted Vaishnava. So नारद मुनि के संग के वजह से मृगारी नाम के जो शिकारी थे, वो जो जानवरों को मारते थे, आधा मारते थे, सो जानवर काफ़ी उनको क्लेश होता था और काफ़ी समय के बाद जानवर अपने प्राण त्याग देते थे. पर नारद मुनि के संग की वजह से मृगारी इतना मृदु स्वभाव के वैष्णव बने कि दोबारा जब नारद मुनि उनको मिलने के लिए आए, मृगारी ने रास्ते में कुछ चींटियों को देखे. उन्होंने सोचा कि चींटियों को कष्ट नहीं होना चाहिए, ऐसा चींटियों को उन्होंने साइड में हटाए. और चेत प्रसादयति, when Chitraketu Maharaj lost his son Harshashoka, he obtained his son after a long time. But when his son died, he was coming to the place where the son was lying dead. He would walk few steps and then he would become unconscious. And then after some time he would get up, he would walk few steps and then he would become unconscious. Chitraketu Maharaj was devastated by the death of his son. But when he heard the instructions of Narada Muni, Bhagavatam describes that Chitraketu Maharaj got a hope in his life. He became pacified. Cheta prasadayati. So नारद मुनि के संग से चित्रकेतु महाराज, जब चित्रकेतु महाराज का पुत्र का देहांत हुआ, उस समय चित्रकेतु महाराज इतना गहरा शोक में थे. अपने पुत्र को देखने के लिए थोड़ा चलते थे और बेहोश होकर गिर जाते थे और थोड़ा उठ के चलते थे और फिर से बेहोश होकर गिर जाते थे, इतना शोक में थे। पर नारद मुनि के जो आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान को सुने, उसके बाद उनके मन में एक सच्चा शांति को उन्होंने अनुभव किए और उनके मन में एक आशा उत्पन्न हुआ। ही बिकेम होपफुल। और दिक्षु तनोति कीर्तिमत। When Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest, that time Uttanapad was lamenting. He was thinking that because of me, my small child has gone to the forest. He thought he practically lost all hope that his son would be dead. But Narada Muni told that your son's fame is already spread all over the universe. Another verse in the Bhagavatam says that that word Dhruva Maharaj became the foremost among the saintly people. Satam agranihi, sajjananam agranihi, that is the word used. Dhruva Maharaj became foremost among the sajjanas. Narada Muni told that the fame of your son is spread already all over the universe. So that is what Dikshu Tanoti Kirtimat. So we see by the association of Narada Muni, नारद मुनि के संग से ध्रुव जब पुतानपाद शोक से विलाप कर रहे थे, मेरा बेटा जंगल में हो सकता है वो मर गया रहेगा, मेरे वजह से मेरा बेटा मर गया रहेगा, ऐसा उन्होंने विलाप कर रहे थे। उस समय नारद मुनि आके उनको आश्वासन दिए थे और उन्हें सच बताया कि आपके बेटा का यश पूरे ब्रह्मांड में फैल गया, क्योंकि आपके बेटा भगवान विष्णु को प्रसन्न कर चुके हैं, उनका यश पूरा ब्रह्मांड में फैल गया। So we see all this happened by the association of Narada Muni. Another verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described that when Prachetas went to meet, when the Narada Muni went to meet the Prachetas, it is described that Sura Asura Idya, Sura Asura Idya Dadrishesma Naradaha. Narada is described as that person who is respected by the Devatas as well as the Asuras. Srila Prabhupada writes in that purport, he says that not even the demons envy Narada Muni. Devarshinam Naradaha. Yeah, Narada is the Rishi among the Devatas, but even the Asuras, they don't envy Narada Muni. He is equally worshipped both by the demons and the demigods. A perfect Vaishnava's position should be just like Narada Muni, completely independent and unbiased. नारद मुनि के बारे में बताया गया है कि नारद मुनि को असुर और सुर, देवता और असुर दोनों नारद मुनि के ऊपर, दोनों को नारद मुनि के प्रति उनको विश्वास था। एक वैष्णव का चरित्र नारद मुनि जैसे होना चाहिए, ऐसा प्रभुपाद जी लिखते हैं। नारद मुनि, if we see Narada Muni's preaching strategies, how he spoke to different people. Narada Muni narrated the entire story of Prahlad Maharaj and Narsimhadev to the Pandavas, to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So after hearing that story, Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling that Prahlad Maharaj is such a great Vaishnava. The Lord appeared just for the sake of Prahlad, but I am such an ordinary person. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking like that. At that time, Narada Muni could understand the feelings of Yudhishthira Maharaj, And then he speaks a verse to pacify the Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yuyam Nriloke Bata Bhuri Bhaga Lokam Punana Munayo Biyanti Yesham Grihana Vasatiti Sakshat Gudam Param Brahma Manushya Lingam. He says that you Pandavas are most fortunate in this world. The sages who purify the planets, they come and visit your houses because the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides in your house in the human form. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, acts as a messenger of you. He is your cousin brother. He acts as a kind friend. He acts as a servant of you. So therefore, you Pandavas are most fortunate. So Narada Muni could understand the feelings of Yudhishthira Maharaj and he pacified them. So it is said, a teacher should have the mystic siddhi of what is called as Parakaya Praveshanam. Parakaya Praveshanam is a mystic siddhi. It means that entering into the mind of other person and understand what is going on in the mind of the other person. But essentially what I am trying to say is that when a teacher is teaching a subject matter, the teacher should think from the point of view of a student. He is the student able to understand what I am speaking. What example I should give so that the student will be able to understand this concept. The teacher should try to think from the point of view of a student, from the point of the student's mind. So Narada Muni could understand the feelings of Yudhishthira Maharaj, therefore he actually spoke to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj. एक अध्यापक एक सब्जेक्ट को सिखाने के समय एक अध्यापक वो छात्र के मन के अंदर प्रवेश करके सोचना चाहिए कि मैं इस विषय को कैसे बताऊं क्योंकि ताकि ये जो छात्र इस विषय को आसान से समझ सके. सो नारद मुनि जब युधिष्ठिर महाराज को प्रहलाद महाराज के बारे में बता रहे थे, युधिष्ठिर महाराज सोच रहे थे कि प्रहलाद महाराज कितने श्रेष्ठ वैष्णव हैं, पर मैं तो साधारण व्यक्ति हूँ. ऐसा युधिष्ठिर महाराज अपने नम्रता से ऐसा सोच रहे थे. उस समय नारद मुनि युधिष्ठिर महाराज के भावनाओं को समझ के उनको प्रेरणा दिए कि आप पांडव लोग आप कितने भाग्यशाली हैं कि भगवान कृष्ण आपके महल में निवास करते हैं. साधु जन जो आपने यात्रा करके जो अनेक स्थानों को शुद्धिकरण करते हैं, वो साधु जन आपके महल में अपने शुद्धिकरण के लिए आते हैं क्योंकि आपके महल में भगवान श्री कृष्ण निवास करते हैं. श्री कृष्ण आपके कितने अंतरंग पार्षद है, आपको शांति दूत के रूप में सेवा करते हैं, आपको आपके घनिष्ठ मित्र हैं, आपके भाई हैं, आपके कजिन ब्रदर हैं. इस तरफ नारद मुनि युधिष्ठिर महाराज को आश्वासन देते हैं. वी सी दैट नारद मुनि स्पिरिचुअल इंटेलिजेंस. नारद मुनि spoke just one Kuta shloka to the sons of Daksha Prajapati, that is Haryashvas. Daksha Prajapati had 10,000 sons and those sons were so intelligent. Narada Muni just spoke one shloka, a Kuta shloka. Kuta shloka is like kind of a riddle. You cannot understand it easily. But Narada Muni just spoke one shloka and the Haryashvas understood the meaning of the shloka. They understood the purpose of life and then they took to full devotional service They renounced the world and then they perfected their life. And the same Narada Muni, he spoke to the Savalashvas, the brothers of Haryashvas. He told them, the Savalashvas, they had an affection towards their brothers. So Narada Muni told, so you are all followers of your brother, you have so much of affection to your brothers. Why don't you follow in the footsteps of your brothers? So Narada Muni understood their affection towards their brothers and then he inspired them in devotional service by understanding their psychology. Like Prabhupada told Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj to start the Bhakti Vedanta Institute to preach the scientists. He told Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj to preach the scientists by presenting Krishna consciousness with a scientific language. And the same Prabhupada, he also told, one time he told his Western disciples, what is the use of being an American if you cannot do something wonderful for Lord Chaitanya? So the Americans had a pride, we are from America, we can do something wonderful. So Prabhupada understood their psychology and he actually told them, if you cannot do something wonderful for Lord Chaitanya, what is the use of being Americans? Krishna told Arjuna, Matras Parshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Apaino Nitya Tam Titikshasva Bharata. Krishna addressed Arjuna by the word Kaunteya and Bharata. By that, Krishna is trying to remind, you are the son of Kunti. Kunti had tolerated so many difficulties throughout her life. If you cannot tolerate these difficulties in performing this war, what is the use of being called the son of a Kunti? You are the descendant of Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj is such a great king and he never, he was so conscious of his Kshatriya Dharma. Having born in the lineage of Bharat Maharaj, if you give up this fight and if you go to the forest, then you are not fit to be called as a descendant of Bharat Maharaj. So, Narad Muni also understood the psychology of the Savalashvas and inspired the Savalashvas in devotional service by telling that, oh, you are the followers of your brother, you should simply follow in the footsteps of your brother. So, Narad Muni, हर एक व्यक्ति के मनोभावना का समझ के उसके अनुसार भक्ति मार्ग को उनको प्रेरणा दिए. हरियश्व को उन्होंने एक कूट श्लोक बताए. कूट श्लोक के अर्थ समझना बहुत ही मुश्किल है, पर उनको एक ही कूट श्लोक बताए और उन कूट श्लोक का अर्थ को समझ के हरियश्वस अपने पूरे जीवन को भगवान के सेवा में अर्पित कर दे. और उनके भाई लोग सवलश्वास को नारद मुनि बोले कि आपको अपने भाइयों के प्रति इतना भक्ति इतना प्रेम है, आप भी अपने भाइयों के पदचिन्हों में अपने जीवन को चलाइए. ऐसा बोल के उनको भी भक्ति भावना में प्रेरणा की. इस तरफ वी कैन सी दैट नारद मुनि So Narada Muni was actually expert in indirect preaching as well as direct preaching. Narada Muni, when he was speaking to Vyasadev, he directly told, Bhavata anudita prayam yasho bhagavato malam yenai vasauna tushyeta manyeta darshanam kilam. He said that the root cause of your dissatisfaction is that because you have not sufficiently described the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jugupsitam dharma kritenu shasata swabhava raktasya mahan vyatikrama yaduvakyato dharma iti tarastito namanyate tasya nivaranam janah. You have written so many other literatures, but because you are not exclusively glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I don't give much value to your other literatures. Now you write one literature in which you can exclusively glorify the Supreme Personality of God. So Narada Muni, he directly spoke about the path of Bhakti Yoga to Veda Vyasa. He told to the Prachetas, Tajjanma tani karmani tadayus tanmano vachah nrinam yena hi vishvatma sevyate haririshwarah. So Narada Muni told that when a living entity engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then his birth, all his fruitive activities, his lifespan, his mind and his words are all factually perfect. He very clearly spoke, he directly spoke about the devotional service to Prachetas. But the same Narada Muni to King Prachina Parishad, he took the strategy of bridge preaching. He spoke an allegorical story to Prachina Parishad. He told about the story of a king called as Puranjana. And he told a very dramatic, attractive story. And Prachina Parishad's mind became completely absorbed in that. And then gradually he gave the message behind that story. So Narada Muni was expert in the direct preaching as well as indirect preaching. So Narada Muni, हम देखते हैं कि वेद व्यास को प्रचार करने के समय, प्रचेतास को बताने के समय उन्होंने सीधा सीधा भगवत भक्ति के ऊपर उन्होंने सीधा सीधा प्रचार किया. बट वही नारद मुनि राजा प्राचीन परिषद को उनको उपदेश देने के समय एक पुरंजन नाम के एक राजा के कहानी को बताए, क्योंकि प्राचीन परिषद सीधा नहीं सुनना चाहते थे कि मैं जो मार्ग पालन कर रहा हूं ये मार्ग नीचे मार्ग है, ये सबसे श्रेष्ठ मार्ग नहीं है. वो सीधा वो सुनना नहीं चाहते थे, क्योंकि उनका बड़े लोगों का बड़ा अहंकार भी रहता है. वो सीधा नहीं सुनना चाहें कि मैं मूर्ख हूं. इसलिए नारद मुनि एक इनडायरेक्टली उन्होंने एक पुरंजन नाम के एक राजा के एक कहानी, एक कल्पना करके एक कहानी बताए थे, और उस कहानी के माध्यम से उन्होंने भक्ति मार्ग का प्रचार किया. नारद मुनि, अबाउट नारद मुनि, दैट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल श्लोका. So Prabhupada writes in a purport, I'll write finish in another 5 minutes. Narada is especially able to advise the conditioned souls as to how they can dovetail their present activities with the devotional service of Krishna without unnecessarily disrupting their present life. So Narada Muni was expert in understanding the situation of the particular person, psychology of a particular person, how they can dovetail their present situation in Krishna's service. Narada Muni would unnecessarily not disrupt a person's present life. It's not that Narada Muni was only into making brahmacharis, or sometimes like there was one devotee was saying that previously like ISKCON made many full-time devotees. So sometimes when they would go for bus party in a small town, the people would say that, oh, this gang, they catch small young people and then they will take away. So that gang has come. So like that, some people in small villages, they had a notion actually. So sometimes people had that kind of thing. So but Narada Muni was not like, he would not unnecessarily disrupt a person's life. He would understand the psychology of a person. He would actually inspire a person in devotional service to Krishna, understanding how to dovetail that particular person's talent in Krishna's service without unnecessarily disrupting a person's life. So नारद मुनि हर एक व्यक्ति के उनके जीवन के स्थिति को समझ के, उनके मनोभावना को समझ के, उसके अनुसार भगवान के सेवा में प्रेरणा देते थे. वो नारद मुनि के एक विशेष सामर्थ्य है। महाभारत में, in Mahabharata, when Narada Muni comes to the meet Yudhishthira Maharaj in the Sabha Parva, there's a very great detailed description about Narada Muni's qualification. I'll just describe that briefly. It is described that Narada Muni was expert in all the Vedas, Upanishads, and he was worshipped by all the Devatas, and he knew the deep meanings of the Itihasa and Purana, and he was expert in the Nyaya Shastra, Dharma Shastra, Shiksha Shastra, Kalpa Shastra, Vyakarana Shastra, Nirukta Shastra, Chanda Shastra, Jyotisha Shastra, and he was expert in all the Vedangas. And Narada Muni was expert in the Niti Shastra. He was a Trikala Darshi, and he was expert in the art of how to debate with the people. He was expert in the subject of Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. And Narada Muni was also expert in Sandhi, Vigraha, we say Sama, Dama, Danda, Beda. He was expert in diplomacy. Like that, detailed description is given. So, Bhagavatam presents Narada Muni as a teacher of devotional service. How he taught devotional service to so many people. And we read this section in the Sabha Parva, Narada Muni, how he was such a great all-rounder. Narada Muni was expert in all the aspects of the Vedic literature. So, भागवत में हम देखते हैं कि नारद मुनि कैसे भक्ति मार्ग को अनेक लोगों को प्रचार किए। भक्ति मार्ग के शिक्षक नारद मुनि के भक्ति मार्ग के सबसे श्रेष्ठ शिक्षक, उसको भागवत में हम देखते हैं। पर उसी महाभारत में वर्णन आता है कि नारद मुनि पुराण, इतिहास, वेदांग, वेद, उपनिषद, नीति शास्त्र सब में प्रवीण थे। हाँ, साम, दाम, दंड, भेद, राजनीति, इन सब में वो प्रवीण थे। हाँ, और I'll maybe end with this. Very beautiful points. Narada Muni, there's a beautiful shloka which comes in the first canto. So Narada Muni, Antar Bahimscha Lokam Strin Paryem Askandita Vrataha Anugrahan Mahavishnur Avigata Gatik Kvachit. It is described that with the continuous worship of the Lord, by the grace of Mahavishnu, I travel outside and inside the universe with no obstacles at all. Narada Muni could travel to any place within the universe, and he could travel to any place in the Vaikuntha Loka. You can imagine the freedom given to Narada Muni. Any place within the universe and any place outside the material world to Vaikuntha Loka. When is a person given freedom? Freedom is given to a person, to a trustworthy person. Do we hand over the key to our almirah where you keep your jewelry to your servants in the house? No, we give freedom to a person only to a person who is trustworthy. And what is the amount of to the extent a person is trustworthy, you award that much freedom to that person. But the freedom awarded to Narada Muni could travel to any place within the material world and any place outside the material world to the spiritual world. You can imagine how much Narada Muni was a trustworthy devotee in the eyes of Lord Krishna. What actually how is it that Narada Muni became such a trustworthy devotee in the eyes of Lord Krishna? That is also described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. When Narada Muni was 5 years old, the only person he knew in his life was his mother. And he had absolutely no property. He absolutely had no experience in life. He had no experience of different countries or different places. But suddenly his mother died by a snake bite. So at that time, how did Narada Muni take that situation? Tada tadaham ishasya bhaktanam sham abhipsatam anugraham manyamana pratishtam dishamuttaran. The child Narada, 5-year-old Narada, he took that situation. He said that he felt Lord Krishna, who is always concerned about the welfare of his devotees, that Krishna has bestowed his mercy in my life in the form of this situation. So that situation for a 5-year-old boy who had absolutely nobody in his life, the only person, his mother, died, but he took that situation as a mercy of the Lord. That means that is the situation. In that situation, it is so easy to lose one's faith in Krishna. But in that situation, he had complete trust in Krishna. And because he had complete trust in Krishna, ye yatamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. When a living entity, the way the living entity approaches Krishna, Krishna says that I also reciprocate with the living entity accordingly. Because Narada Muni put complete trust in Krishna, Krishna also put complete trust in Narada Muni. Therefore, Krishna gave complete freedom to Narada Muni because he knew that Narada will never misuse the freedom. So therefore, we see that how Narada Muni was such a trustworthy devotee of Krishna. Because of that, he got complete freedom. And Narada Muni accepted that curse-like situation as a blessing by Krishna. And later when Narada Muni was cursed by Daksha Prajapati, because Narada Muni inspired the sons of Daksha Prajapati, Haryeshwas and Savalashwas, to take to devotional service. Daksha had sent his sons to perform tapasya before getting married to beget children. But Narada Muni felt that these sons they are fit for the Paramahamsa ashram. He could understand that. Therefore, he inspired them to practice Bhakti Yoga, the Sannyasa ashram. But Daksha Prajapati became angry. Daksha Prajapati cursed Narada Muni that you cannot stay in a particular place beyond 3 days. But Narada Muni accepted that curse to be a blessing. Bhakti is an art of transforming the curses into blessings. So Narada Muni, he accepted that curse as a blessing. Because Narada Muni accepted the curse as a blessing, therefore, whenever Narada Muni curses somebody,